I found it again, the perfect tool for my work. It was an old, rusted axe hidden away in the shed at the edge of town. The handle was rough but familiar, a worthy extension of my own hand. I could feel the weight of it, the promise of what was to come as I tightened my grip. The night was my ally. The street shrouded in darkness, the air heavy and warm. As I approached the house, I moved silently, my steps swallowed by the soft, damp earth. I had chosen this place carefully, just as I always did. The door was a simple obstacle. The lock gave way with minimal effort, the rusted metal protesting softly as I forced it open. Inside, the house was still and quiet, the kind of silence that wraps around you like a shroud. It was the perfect setting for my work. I slipped through the house, every floorboard beneath me creaking with the weight of what was to come. I found them in their sleep, complacent, unsuspecting. The darkness seemed to deepen as I stood over them, the axe heavy in my hand. With a deliberate swing, I brought the axe down, feeling the satisfying bite of steel meeting flesh. The first cry was a muted gasp, quickly silenced by my relentless assault. The quiet of the house was soon broken by the sounds of my work, the thud of the axe, the rush of blood. When the job was done, I left the axe behind, a grim reminder of the terror that I had wrought. I retreated into the night, my steps echoing softly as I disappeared into the shadows. The city of New Orleans would be left to grapple with the nightmare I had unleashed. I left my mark, my signature in blood, and as always, I vanished in the darkness, my only companion. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel if you're a regular viewer. We hit 100 subscribers at some point last night. I'm not sure exactly when, but I appreciate you guys so much. This has been pretty crazy to me to learn that people want to listen to me just like talking about, you know, the stuff that I kind of find interesting. So I appreciate you guys for sticking around. We're talking about the New Orleans Axeman today, and like, well, it's not paranormal or he's not a cryptid. You know, it's a mystery from like 1918, I think, is when the dude, or 1917 is when he started. He ended his madness in like 1918. It's pretty crazy. If you're not familiar with the New Orleans Axeman, basically he just showed up one day. He grabbed an axe out of somebody's backyard, went into the house, killed the whole family, and then like disappeared. And then he'd show up like periodically through the next 3 years, just targeting people. And it seemed like, through my research, it seemed like the only people he targeted were Italian grocers, like Italian families that ran grocery stores. And in my research, it came to be that during there was a time period before this happened when New Orleans was being flooded with Italians fresh off the boat, basically, and they would go and work in plantations and sugar fields and stuff like that, and then they would save up their money and they would all just open grocery stores. There was something like 20,000 migrant Italians in New Orleans at the time. So I guess the Axeman just thought that they were like an easy target, but it seemed like from our research that's all he targeted was Italian workers. There were some cases that were attributed to other people, like copycat killers, but it's most widely known that the main murders were by the same guy. So we're gonna get into it. Again, thank you guys for checking this out. I appreciate it. The Axeman's reign of terror began on May 23rd, 1918, with the murder of Joseph Maggio and his wife Catherine. The couple was brutally attacked in their home with an axe, a weapon found at the crime scene, adding a grim signature to the violence. The attack was brutal and shocking, sending ripples of fear through the community. The pattern of violence continued with the subsequent attacks on other Italian-American families. Victims included the Traeger family, where Miss C.K. Traeger and her children were targeted, and the Mistretta family with a similar brutal method. Each crime bore the same chilling signature, the use of an axe and a savage, unrestrained approach. What makes these attacks particularly disturbing is the methodical nature of the violence. The Axeman would break into the homes, typically targeting families while they slept, and use an axe often found at the scene to carry out his horrific acts. One of the most bizarre elements of the case was a letter sent to the New Orleans newspapers on March 13, 1919. The letter, signed by the Axeman, claimed that he would spare anyone playing jazz music in their homes on the night of March 19th. The letter was both cryptic and chilling. It read, "I am very hard to get along with. I'm going to kill everybody who does not keep his house in order. You might not know me, but I am the Axeman." This letter not only struck fear into the hearts of New Orleans residents, but also led to a citywide frenzy. I actually have a copy of the letter pulled up. Pardon the lighting here, but I wanted to read like the exact letter here, because it gives off hardcore Zodiac vibes. Hell, March 13th, 1919. Esteemed mortal, they have never caught me, and they never will. They have never seen me, for I am invisible, even as the ether that surrounds your earth. I am not a human being, but a spirit and a demon from the hottest hell. I am what you Orleans and your foolish police call the Axeman. When I see fit, I shall come and claim victims. I alone know whom they shall be. I shall leave no clue except my bloody axe, besmeared with blood and brains, of he whom I have sent below to keep me company. If you wish, you may tell the police to be careful not to rile me. Of course, I am a reasonable spirit. I take no offense at the way they have conducted their investigations in the past. In fact, they have been so utterly stupid as to not only amuse me, but His Satanic Majesty, Francis Joseph, etc. But tell them to beware. Let them not try to discover what I am, for it were better that they were never born than to incur the wrath of the Axeman. I don't think there is any need of such a warning, for I feel sure the police will always dodge me, as they have in the past. They are wise and know how to keep away from all harm. Undoubtedly, you Orleans think of me as a horrible murderer, which I am, but I could be much worse if I wanted to. If I wished, I could pay a visit to your city every night. At will, I could slay thousands of your citizens, for I am in close relationship with the Angel of Death. Now, to be exact, at 12:15 earthly time, on next Tuesday night, I'm going to pass over New Orleans. In my infinite mercy, I'm going to make a little proposition to you people. Here it is. I am very fond of jazz music, and I swear by all the devils in all the nether regions that every person shall be spared in whose home a jazz band is in full swing at time. I have just mentioned, if everyone has a jazz band going, well then, so much the better for you people. One thing is for certain, that some of your people who do not jazz it out on the specific Tuesday night, if there be any, will get the axe. Well, as I am cold and crave warmth of my native Tartarus, and it is about time I leave your earthly home, I will cease my discourse, hoping that thou wilt publish this, that it may go well with thee. I have been, am, and will be the worst spirit that ever existed, either in fact or realm of fantasy, the Axeman. So, number one, it gives off like hardcore Zodiac vibes, because like the Zodiac killer was sending letters talking about how like he was like gathering slaves for the afterlife, and how like he was a demon or some stuff like that. And number two, it's really hard to read because it sounds like it was written by like an edgy teenager. The identity of the Axeman has remained one of the most elusive mysteries. Over the years, various suspects have been proposed, from local individuals with known issues to organized crime figures. Some theories suggest that the Axeman may have been involved with the mafia, targeting Italian American families as part of a larger criminal scheme. Yeah, so there was a blackmailing ring going around at the time, and they were targeting Italian American families, Italian American grocers specifically. Others propose that the Axeman could have had personal motives, possibly targeting specific families or individuals he had grievances with. Despite numerous theories and suspects, no concrete evidence has ever pinpointed the Axeman's true identity. One intriguing theory involves the possibility that the Axeman was a member of a secret society or cult, using the murders as some form of ritualistic punishment. However, this theory remains speculative with little evidence to support it. The Axeman's legend has left a profound mark on popular culture. The eerie nature of this case, combined with the cryptic letter, has inspired various works of fiction and non-fiction. The Axeman has been featured in movies, books, and even music, solidifying his place in American folklore. Yeah, what was the song? There was a song written specifically about this. Don't Scare Me Papa is the name of the song, and it is a jazz song. Yeah, it's crazy. Films and television have drawn on the Axeman's mysterious and terrifying persona, often dramatized his crimes and added elements of supernatural intrigue. The case has become a symbol of fear and uncertainty that characterized this dark chapter in New Orleans history. In addition to fictional portrayals, the Axeman story has also been the subject of numerous investigations and documentaries exploring the real-life horror and mystery behind the case. Despite the extensive investigations, the numerous theories, the Axeman of New Orleans remains an unsolved mystery. The case ended abruptly in October 1919, with no further murders attributed to the Axeman. A sudden cessation of the attacks left many questions unanswered. The lack of conclusive evidence and the enigmatic nature of the crimes have contributed to the case's enduring myth. The Axeman's true identity and motives remain shrouded in darkness, making it one of the most perplexing and chilling unsolved mysteries in American history. Yeah, there was one guy, I forget his name, but he was involved with the blackmailing ring, and there was one witness. She claimed she saw him in her room that night that her husband was attacked and killed. She later moved to California, and she saw that guy again, and the guy came to her house. So I don't know, it's not really clear what he was doing there, but he came to her house. And she just straight up shot him in the face and killed him. She ended up getting taken to jail for it. But yeah, she went to trial for it, and the judge is like, no, she set her free. It doesn't matter. So it's pretty weird. That happened shortly after she moved too. She was one of the later victims. But in her original, when she had originally talked to the police in New Orleans, she had described two people in her room, and then there was only this one guy that seemed to have tracked her down, or just by happenstance showed up. It's not really clear how he found his way there, but yeah, it was a super interesting story. I wasn't too familiar with it until I started doing the research for it. But yeah, hope you guys like it. Thank you for joining me as we explored the Axeman case. If you found this deep dive into America's most eerie and unresolved cases intriguing, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the little bell icon. That way you stay up to date whenever we do new content. I upload almost daily. But yeah, if you guys like it and you like, subscribe, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for the 100 subs. Means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. Have a good day.
Till I black up, put your hands around it. I'm my heart, I'm guilty.